Hi everybody,
Hi everyone, John Heinrich.
Ray Evertson from RG Travels and Keeping It Simple. So keeping it simple, today is January 9th. We're on our second day on our 3-day trip on Royal Caribbean's Independence of the Seas. It was just a quick getaway, which we used to always like. This is the first one since we've done since the shutdown, right?
On Royal Caribbean.
On Royal Caribbean 2 years ago. The last trip that we were on before the shutdown was a three-day trip on the Mariner of the Seas.
Right.
So what Royal Caribbean has done now is replace the Mariner for a certain amount of time with a larger ship, the Independence, which is the Freedom class ships. And we were supposed to be docking in Nassau today.
And we didn't because of weather. So there were 3 other ships that were supposed to be docking in Nassau today, and none of those ships were able to get into port because the weather was so bad.
So basically, we'll do another video, right, John, about the differences of, we were in a Grand Suite on this trip.
Right.
And on our last celebrity trip was a Sky Suite, which is the equivalent to a junior suite here on Royal Caribbean. And we'll do another video about the pros and cons of the two types, or the suite experiences between the two carriers, between the two cruise lines. That will be our next video. But we basically wanted to do a little video about, let's say, the hysteria that we're hearing out there, what the media is covering, and all the other stuff about that maybe because the CDC is saying that you shouldn't be cruising, that no cruising. Well, we felt that it was important that we should share our little opinion about it, because we've been cruising since June of last year, since they started opening up on with cruising again.
Right. And we have been cruising for 30 years. So,
yeah.
To put it into context, before COVID, the biggest thing to fear on cruise ships was
norovirus,
which was a skin contact virus that you got that gave you intestinal problems.
And that usually occurred because it was a passenger or guest that brought it on board the ships.
Just like now.
Just like now. Basically what we want to say about the protocols, and there's also going to be some pictures in this video, right, John, of people cleaning on Coco Cay,
right,
as well as what they do here on the ships. And what our own opinion, yeah, hold on, before we get into that, hold on. This is going to be our own opinion.
These are our opinions.
No one is paying us to say anything. We're not getting anything for it. It's just our own opinion, and we want to preface this that we're germaphobes, okay? Constantly, even before the pandemic, we carried our sanitizer in our pockets anyways, before the pandemic. And you know, it's amazing what you get to learn when you're on cruises. It's basically the human being, the guest, that is the one that affects most of the experiences that you have on board. Long story short, it's safe to cruise. It's safer to cruise than it is to go to our own grocery store in Florida. And even if you don't have to wear a mask, and you don't have to wear masks in Florida, when you're going to the grocery store, if you're going to other locations, restaurants and things like that. But John and I, we did a personal thing that we said that we were always going to wear a mask no matter what when we're walking one place to the other. Once I'm sitting down, I take the mask off.
Right, and I'm considering this the new norm. We're going to be wearing these for a while, so you might as well get used to it. You might as well wear it properly, and then we can get over this stuff real quick. But to put it in perspective, these little armbands we were given out when we checked in stating that we were vaccinated. So
that's only on Royal Caribbean, though.
Right. Anyone that, when you're getting on Royal Caribbean, anyone that isn't vaccinated has a green one?
It's a green one, and most of the ones that are unvaccinated supposedly are the kids 11 and younger.
Mm-hmm.
So then what happens is the whole family is considered unvaccinated. And the reason why they're doing this is on Royal Caribbean ships right now only, there are vaccinated areas and what they call E areas. It's identified by a V for vaccinated on the program planners or anything,
Right.
and on the events, and then there's the V for vaccinated. Personally, again, this is my personal opinion, if you're not vaccinated, you don't get on a ship, because I don't want what we experience, what the guest experience, to be affected, or that we go through another shutdown.
Right.
The biggest thing that I've noticed, again, is guests not wearing their masks and not wearing it properly.
When it's mandatory.
When it's mandatory on Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean mandates that you wear a mask when you're walking from one location to another, when you're seated and you're drinking and eating. Of course, you can take your mask off. Certain events in the theater, the ice rink, they say you need to wear your mask because you're sitting right next to somebody, even if you're vaccinated. But they have protocols in place. You not feeling well, or you test positive on the ship during your cruise, you go to the medical center, they test you. If you test positive, they allow you to grab your things out of your cabin, and you are put in a designated area in the ship
Isolation.
where you're basically quarantined.
Now let's go to a past trip that we were on in Asia where I got sick. We were isolated for 4 days in the room, and it's protocol because you want to make sure that that person who was sick at the time isn't carrying anything contagious. Well, I didn't. Sadly, it was something that I drank and I got sick from it. Stayed in the room for 4 days. They took care of us very well, and that was that. This is the same thing that's going on now. If you come up positive, you're going to get isolated. You're going to be put into a room. I'm sorry, but that is the healthiest protocol to take, rather than you thinking because you're asymptomatic that you're not going to give it to anybody else.
They also have tracing, which we should have done, in my opinion, a long time ago in this country, but they have cameras everywhere, so they know who you've been in contact with. So then they contact these people and they test the people. If they don't test positive, they're free to do whatever they'd like to do. But bottom line here is, the tables, when you're sitting at a public area, they're sanitized each time someone gets up. They have a little sign that says sanitized for your use, and then once somebody is seated, they turn it over and saying not available, and then until it's sanitized, then that table is available. The crews are all wearing masks. They're wearing double masks, K95s, the white ones, and then they have their cloth mask across that mask. The cruise industry knows how to keep things cleaner. They don't even sanitize your shopping carts at the store. They don't even sanitize any surfaces when you're going to a grocery store. Your restaurants, I've seen it.
And how many of those places do you have to provide a negative COVID test to get into? Compare it to the cruise lines where you had to even get into the ship.
Yeah. So that was in one of our previous videos. I believe it was with Celebrity. They asked to see your vaccination cards.
Not once, but 3 times.
You upload your vaccination cards to the program for check-in. The bottom line here, there is so much cleaning and sanitizing. The cruise ships have been around more than a year or two. They've been here a few decades. They do know how to control sicknesses and bacterias and things like that. So unfortunately, I believe that the CDC may have over-exaggerated a bit. So unfortunately, again, my own personal opinion, I believe the CDC and the media are very unfair to the cruise lines. Not because we're in the travel industry. No, we enjoy cruising. Cruising is something that we do whenever we can, if it's on a weekend or just to get away and to relax, because everything is there for you. So basically, it's going to be a choice for you people.
And if you're going to choose to do that, please contact us. rgtravels.com. Remember, wear your mask. And other than that, we're down to cruising. We like it. We love it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Any questions, you know where we're at. What are you supposed to say? Like and subscribe?
Oh, like, subscribe, and follow with all the other stuff. And please look at our other videos on YouTube.
Again, our motto is keeping it simple. There you go.
Bye
Have
now.
a great day, everybody.